cashed out again. Where was I? Eternal. Well, see, what happened was when Keith was in the United States, and we were just married, and I was trying to have a normal life, but something, when I sit in front of the computer, said that I had some connection to the 72, and I didn't know. I'm not 72, Judy's 72. You're 72, Chris, but I'm 67. And, I mean, I had known that they would say that I had dreamt at one point about the Husseins. I mean, I dreamt at one point that I had on the same outfit that O'Day did, but I didn't even know who he was till well after his death. But because they use people here to do, like when I worked different places, he did most of the work at other people. I don't know. I mean, they're no better off than I am in the end. But anyway, I was dreaming, and it was music industry at the time, and I was standing at somebody in a room where there was this particular group who present music on stage, and one of them said he had to get rid of Keith in them, and he showed himself hanging them, and it was around the time that they had hung that wrestler. So anyway, Keith kept calling, and he came home and visited, and well, other than me looking up the street and seeing you living with a person up the street and driving a car, the same car you have, and going to a house over on Dunham there, and 3 or 4 places that I see you during the day, every day in your own car. But how could it be you? Because you're at work and, you don't come off as not getting paid. So how could I know for sure that it was him? But I have to keep going because he's still representing himself. I just don't talk to him on the phone, because when I talk to him on the phone, the only person I feel like I'm talking to is one of the men who was in that room, and I'm not his slave. So I send Keith letters, Christmas letters by this point, and I love him dearly. But my mess is my mess, and honor God, me not being a whatever it was that God preferred, the publican, and I'm going to still keep praying, because God is up there, Allah, at the very top, Yahweh, the middle. God is still there. It's just he's closer to, it's the same thing as us. I'm next door to them, so I have, it's in their neighborhood, the proverbial next door. So I have to put up with it a bit harder. So, God as we see him, same God, his feet maybe, right? I don't know how it works. It's not a physical thing. Anyway, I don't know if he's there. I wouldn't be wiring him money, let me tell you, because I'm not in on the money wiring that sort of becomes, more zeros than you need. But I do send him Christmas cards, and I still love him. And we had a good life growing up. None of them maintain a Facebook page. Not really. Right? They all have the dud picture and the teddy bears with the fake greetings, and, it's just a little bit ridiculous, isn't it? Well, there's Judy. Built-in oven. We didn't have that till after, I don't know, maybe I had it put in earlier. Well, obviously we're not married yet, so. In any case, my mom was still living with us at that point. And there's Chris. And Chris's family. And there's Glenn, and Chris worked with at IOC. And there's Keith. He always had a direct personality, but can you imagine some of the things he said back then, and none of us really knew what it was he was saying. I mean, and I know he's in heaven. He was carried the cross of the Lord. I did too when we were at a church in Robinson's, the Anglican church. They weren't sure if I should, but, Michael and Michelle, not my cousin, my friend, Reverend Collett's daughter, finally looked at me in the vestry and said, maybe she can carry the cross. And, but he had to carry a lot of the words back when I was in 2005, 2006, going through things with someone walking me through their scheme against getting rid of people and trying to make it look like it was me who was angry because they had me there. And, that's what I would do if I was God. And it's not God, because God has to do it with natural disasters. And all the words that had coming through my mouth then at that time, and could explain them by that point, he was saying all the way back then. So, he was suffering the whole time. Look at Keith. Anyway, and then we get to the wedding. This is all great. I'd rather look at pictures of that. And here we are out in the back room. Good times I had there with my friends in the summer. Sometimes on a Friday night we'd go up and play pool just to say we went. Have a drink maybe. I only lived 10 minutes away. I really didn't drink a lot. There was no point. I would get sick the next day. The one time I tried, I was out with some of my colleagues, and I had more than 2, and I just got sick. I don't know the point of getting sick. So 1 or 2 just to be social, and you make that last all night. You don't do it till you're, well, at least 21. When are you really going to be grown up enough? If they keep putting young people up you because you have a degree and you can do math, do you ever really grow up if they're taller than you? It's not about them. These are some of the, me and my friend Samantha traveled all the way to Labrador, ran into Chris's aunt and her husband on the highway. They all broke down or something along the way, the dirt road. Chris's mother travels that still, yet today in the winter. When cars are stranded on the side, I suppose she's probably had to hump it from her car to one of those 2 rest stops in the space of about 100 kilometers on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. I wouldn't want him to do that to me. Although when we were home that summer, he was going to gave me the pocket money that he had. I had no other money. He's the only one with the job back then. And also, even though I still had applied, going to put us on the road in the car. I haven't got a clue about highway driving. I never needed to. I know where to live. I live safely. No reason that I could tell he was talking to someone on the phone. I heard it was Jeff. I heard he was coming back at us, but I don't know how you would be able to do that. But we would have died. I mean, let's be honest. I couldn't think straight at that point, so I parked the car in his mother's driveway, and Emma was only 6, and finally got up the courage to go inside, and I just ignored them and went on because whoever it was had passed away again and gone, and he was another person. Because really, there's never one person there. Still bickering, but he brought us back, and I mean, that was in 2008. So, well, she was 8, I guess, yeah. So, and I went teaching, and I did 2 really, really important positions here, and I did them very well, and kept web pages, and running journals of the students' work, and left programming for them. And by the next year, I couldn't get back because there just wasn't a position for me. And by the point that it came for me to go back, my money had, my whatever it is that you pay into the board to be able to teach, had run out, and it was just too expensive to renew. Hey, plus Disney. And so this is the Bolger family. We rented from them in Labrador for years. He worked at the railway. My father didn't hunt with him, but used to go up on the train to go hunting. We're not so good between them anymore, but they were friends of our family for years. But it's how dynamics change, isn't it, when you become another family? Because I'm not a strong group. I try and go with my family, but I know they were beaten and they had land, and everybody wants land, right? I mean, when you're military, you're, oh my goodness, here they go again, proverbial dealing with the Indians. It's not very nice, you are. And give them the land, but proverbial dealing with the foreigners, and here's a bunch of land that we were given by God, I guess, Jew, and we knew what the doughboys were, and this is what I'm hearing. And I'm sure they were already beaten enough, so I'm ending up with your family, but that's who I'm with. I mean, I should have to be, I guess, in heaven or below heaven, or, whatever that is, with who I'm with. There's no way, there's no way I could afford to go home. So much for that, hey? More wedding pictures. And I remember, a certain song they'd sing and you'd have to kiss or whatever, so, Samantha or Glenn, one of them, saying, "I'm driving in your car." I don't know what exactly the innuendo was behind it, but it really went over well. Excuse me, at the head. Turn on the radio. I knew the song, but I don't know what it was. Here's the loader table. Joe's family were from Southern Harbor, Northern Harbor, one of the harbors, and after you died, after you passed, it wasn't much good said about Newfoundland, but his brothers were all in Labrador also. I never really got to know them. They didn't go to the trailer very often. And that's my Uncle Brad, who actually is German. But we were so held religiously that I don't know what difference it made in our family. And some neighbors sitting at our table, friends of my mom's, to support her because my father wasn't there. And I really was so preoccupied with everything. Always preoccupied. Here we go. I don't know what went on between you two that night, but it was disturbing. Some discussions are just that just don't make sense. And I had never witnessed some of these things until we got into the wedding preparations. But maybe there was more going on than any of us. Certainly the war, the gas war, got to keep the gas companies in oil. Even though they've diversified, Because if it was got to keep the gas companies in oil for our benefit so we'll have money to go places, and I have to, right? I just have to do it because it's going to come back on me anyway. It's already coming back on me. Well, what would have happened would be we would have stopped going so many places and really only been able to buy little tiny cars like I had at the Geo, which used next to no oil, and then truly encouraged to work from home and not be somehow deliberately put in a house, an hour from where you were working, and made to burn that much gas, and encouraged to have your wife put on the road far from her daughter and burn that much gas, and go to the store 10 times a day because you can't remember to pick everything up, or you get into the store, you can't remember if you have enough money, and then you buy that much, and then you have to go back, so there's more gas. And so if it wasn't for a gas company, if it was to get the gas that we would have,